All right, Brent, that's how it stands here at halftime. We'll see whether Mike Ditka continues with Vince Evans or goes back to McMahon when the second half begins. Remember, they are going without Walter Payton this afternoon. So the score at the halftime, Baltimore 13 and the Chicago Bears 3. White will kick it off, Bob Thomas, and the deep man for the Baltimore Colts will be Rick Porter, number 20. He's standing at the 2-yard line as we see Thomas, who has a 45-yard field goal to his credit today. And those are the only Bears points. Good deep kickoff by Thomas. It'll come down at the goal line. It is taken by Kendall Williams, number 44, and he is racked up at the 15-yard line. The ball came loose, and Dewerson took it into the end zone, but play had been whistled dead. Richard Dent made the tackle and knocked the ball loose. The rookie, number 95 for Chicago. See that kickoff again, and watch Williams bring it down and going straight up the field. There's quite a lick on him, Johnny.
It certainly is, and boy, it looked like he lost control of that ball before he hit the ground.
I would say that is a questionable call.
Yes, it is.
In terms of it not being ruled a loose ball and a recovery by the Chicago Bears.
He definitely lost it before he hit the ground.
Today, Art McNally, the supervisor of officials, is in attendance, and that's as a result of Robert Ursay's complaints, the owner of the Colts, about officiating against his team this season so far.
Well, he won't complain against that one.
First down play, and it was Jim Osborne slicing in to make the stop on Curtis Dickey behind the line of scrimmage. So a good second half for the Chicago Bears. The Colts, with a 10-point margin, have certainly deserved their lead. They have been a very active and aggressive team throughout the first half, particularly on defense. The Bears have Dan Raines in at linebacker, number 53, replacing Brian Cabral on the right side. It is 2nd and 12 for the Baltimore Colts. Give us to Dickey, and Dickey finds a hole off left tackle, brings it out near the 20-yard line. Mike Hartenstein and Todd Bell stop him there. It'll be 3rd down and 5 for Baltimore. Early in the 3rd quarter, we are just underway.
Mike Pagel, the Colt quarterback, the Bears liked him a lot 2 years ago when they drafted McMahon. In fact, if McMahon hadn't been available, he's the guy that they would eventually have drafted as a quarterback. He was drafted eventually in the 4th round.
Of course, the Colts passed over McMahon to take Art Schleeser. Steve McMichael has come in to make 5 down linemen and 6 defensive backs on 3rd down. And timeout has been called here. We're not sure whether it's a Colts timeout or not, but evidently it is. So it is 3rd and 5 when we return. The Colts leading 13-3. 13:29 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Back here in Baltimore, you see Vince Evans on the sidelines. He finished up the second half, and we're not sure who's going to come in when the Bears get the ball. We'll find out if the Bears can stop the Colts here. And of course, Mike Pagel taking a timeout on this 3rd down play to make sure that they're all synced and try and get first down and keep the ball moving from Baltimore territory. Slot formation, both sides, one running back. Now in motion back to the ball comes Bouza. They swing it out for McMillan. A bad pass by Pagel to McMillan, incomplete.
They're going to rule that a lateral, I believe. McMillan did a good job of keeping after the ball because it was a lateral. It was not a forward pass, and so they lose a lot of yards out of that situation.
Sharp eye, Johnny. You're absolutely right. And McMillan did at least follow the ball as it bounced out of bounds. There were 2 Bears bearing down on it at the time, Osborne and Hampton. And the ball, fortunately for Baltimore, went out of bounds. So a miscue by the young quarterback Pagel. And Ron Stark will be punting from his end zone. He's about 1 yard in from the back line.
Willie Gault's going to have some room to run this time if it's a normal type punt, because the Colts are back deep in their own territory.
Does he nail one? Ron Stark all the way to the Bears' 41-yard line. Gault runs into one of his own blockers. Now makes a good move up the line. Flags are everywhere as he's knocked out of bounds at the Baltimore 43. Gary Padgett, reserve linebacker, made the tackle. Let's see what the flags are up at midfield.
I think they're going to call a clipping penalty on Dent, 95. One of the Bears came back and hit somebody in the back, it looked like.
Jim McMahon, meanwhile, is headed on to lead the offense again at the start of this second half of play. The Bears trail by only 10, 13, 11 remaining in the third quarter.
Well, that takes you out of good field position in a hurry, doesn't it?
50-yard punt.
They'll still be at their own 40-yard line, and that's decent field position.
So the penalty combined with Ron Stark's 50-yard punt has got them back at the 40-yard line.
Illegal block during the return. Number 95, receiving team.
Johnny Morris pegged him. Rookie Richard Dent.
You'll see Dent come in right there, number 95, as he really did. No question about that when he hit him in the back.
First down for Chicago from their own 40. Gentry and Suey are the running backs. Bashnagel in motion behind the ball. McMahon with time up the middle, complete. And it's complete to Suey, the fullback, out of the backfield. A pickup of 5 yards, maybe 6, depending on where they spot it. No, a 5-yard gain, 2nd and 5. Bears getting good field position following the Stark punt, despite the penalty and the long punt. They're in a good spot.
Well, Bashnagel and Marjoram went out. McKinnon and Galt came back in. So the most that the Bears are getting out of Willie Galt is half time. He's playing about half the time. And it would seem to me that it's such a threat, you got to have him in there. He's come along fast enough that he can play all the time.
Galt right, McKinnon left. Again, McMahon gets time up the middle. It's incomplete. Intended for the tight end, Moorhead, and he dropped the football at the 50-yard line, trying to get first down yardage. So it'll be 3rd down and 5. Bashnagel is bringing the play into McMahon. Van Horn we see back in action here. He was injured slightly late in the first half, and of course with the injuries to Jackson and Sorey already this early season, an injury to Van Horn would have been devastating. Jackson is back but still playing hurt, and Becker has replaced Sorey. Sorey on injured reserve with a knee. Kim Anderson is the nickel back, and on 3rd down, 3 wide receivers in for Chicago. McMahon steps up in the pocket, going deep for Galt, and it is well overthrown. He had no opportunity to get to that ball. 3 Colt defenders around him. So Chicago will have to punt. Let's take a look at some other scores here from around the rest of the National Football League action today. New Orleans and Dallas. Look at this one in the 4th quarter. Dallas has just gone back ahead 20-19. Ron Fellows returning a 63-yard block field goal attempt, and then their extra point attempt was blocked. Parsons' punt hangs up a little now, takes a bare bounce, and there's a big block on Dent from behind, and the ball goes out of bounds down at about the 10-yard line, maybe the 11, so it turned out as an outstanding punt for Bob Parsons. We have 12:09 remaining in the 3rd quarter of play at Baltimore, with the Colts leading the Bears 13-3. Colts lead 13-3, and let me correct that score. It was correct on your screen. New Orleans in front of Dallas 20-19, not the reverse. Reminder, next week on CBS, there's that score. New Orleans leading Dallas 20-19. We'll come back to tell you about some other action next week on CBS when we get a chance. Mike Pagel brings out the Colts, and they are at the 15-yard line. First down. Pagel is 11 for 18, 151 yards. And the give us to McMillan, pardon me, is hit immediately and will probably lose about a half yard. And it was Wotus Wilson, Jim Osborne, Dan Raines all in on it.
And Al Harris.
And Al Harris. A whole bunch of white shirts. So next week on CBS, we started to tell you that the NFL Today will feature the Detroit Lions and the Los Angeles Rams, 2:30 Central Time, and to most of the areas who are watching our telecast today, and an important game for the Central Division Lions, and Bears fans, of course, watching the outcome of that one closely. 2nd and 11. Dickey trying to get wide to the right. He's got a little running room and now is forced out. Good effort by Jeff Fisher, number 24, and Todd Bell, number 25, to prevent Dickey from turning it upfield. Brings up third down for the Baltimore Colts. And they're going to send in this play with Tracy Porter, number 87.
He's the one speed man that they usually put up on the outside. This game seems to be kind of in a lull. You keep thinking something's going to explode here pretty soon, don't you?
Richardson, Dewerson, and Williams have come into the Bears secondary on this third down and 8 situation. 3 wide receivers are in for the Baltimore Colts. And they're going to run it. Dickey, the ball carrier, got about 4 yards, and that brings some boos from the crowd. They didn't like the call. So Baltimore will have to punt, and while they send new troops on the field, let's take a look at some other scores. New England in front of Pittsburgh, 28-23 in the fourth quarter. Miami in front of Kansas City, 14-6. That's a final now.
Yeah.
That is a final score. Miami and Kansas City in a defensive struggle. Buffalo leading Houston 23-13, and Minnesota, Detroit now stands at 20-17. The Vikings in front. Stark.
Wow.
Hits it from his 9. Boy, did he elevate that one. And back at his 25, Willie Gump makes the catch. And slips on the natural turf out of left field of the baseball configuration. Covered immediately by Mark Kafensis. And Stark hits another boomer, backing the Bears into their territory at the 28. They'll have first down there when we return to Baltimore's Memorial Stadium. Stark of the Baltimore Colts. So Jim McMahon, who was just 5 of 11 in the first half, brings out the Chicago Bears from their own 28-yard line. One setback is Suey. Play action. McMahon up the middle to Moorhead. Moorhead had to dive for the ball, but he has a first down inside the 50-yard line in Baltimore territory, and there are no flags down, we're happy to report, on behalf of both teams.
Emery Moorhead this time had linebacker coverage. He has to just get off the line of scrimmage. Shiver is there and Barry Krause, and McMahon did a good job of spotting between the linebackers and putting the ball up and over. And Emery Moorhead wide open for a clutch catch. Bears now beyond the midfield stripe.
He joined us along the way. Of course, Walter Payton out of action offensively, Gary Fensick defensively, and the Colts are playing without Leo Wisniewski on their nose tackle spot. And they lost during the game their fine young linebacker Vernon Maxwell with a shoulder injury. Rolling now, may have been a broken play. He goes back the other way to Dennis McKinnon. McKinnon with a nice move away from one tackler. The rookie wide receiver still going. What a nice effort by that young man to pick up about 8 yards on the play. Dennis McKinnon, the rookie from Florida State. Johnny, was that a planned play back that way?
Oh, yes, it was. A little screen back to, as McMahon rolled out one way and threw it back to McKinnon, who made this team as a free agent, and nobody figured he had a chance. But once Mike Ditka did, he clocked him in the 40 and said he's fast enough to make it. And just a nice bit of running here, as he should have been stopped 2 or 3 times. Little juke and a back around, and finally they get him down. Look at that. He doesn't want to stop. He hasn't had his hands on the ball too much, and he wants to take advantage of it.
2nd and 3 for the Chicago Bears. Matt Suey has a first down and then some. Suey gets down to the 20, make it the 32-yard line of the Baltimore Colts.
Good blocking by Noah Jackson, number 65 on that play. He took care of Donnell Thompson pretty well.
Steve Parker and James Burrows on the tackle for Baltimore, and the Bears with a drive going here.
There's Mike Ditka. Iron Mike is a little ticked off at somebody.
One would not want to be the victim of his ire. First down, Chicago. Quick drop for McMahon. He's going deep for Bashnagel, and it's out of bounds.
A little out nut pattern by Bashnagel, and James Burrows had it covered very well. He didn't go for the short out. Bashnagel is claiming there was interference, but I think it was incidental body contact as they were going down the field as Emery Moorhead comes in the football game. That's Johnny Rowland waving. He's waving formation, and they're trying to correct a couple of situations that happened to the Bears last week when they got confused on short yardage, goal line type of formations. So Johnny Rowland, who's right in the center of your screen, is responsible, making sure that McMahon knows the formation.
Wide to the left, Marjoram. Wide to the right, McKinnon.
Nobody in front of Galt.
Willie Galt set up on the wing right. And here's McMahon rolling under heavy pursuit. Deep, intended for Marjoram, incomplete. McMahon forced out of bounds by Parker and Thompson. And he just did not get the ball into the end zone deep enough for Kenny Marjoram. So it is third down. Bears are 1 for 9 converting on third down.
Well, they have a third and what?
Third and 10.
Third and 10. The way they're playing with the linebackers covering the tight end, let's see if Saldi's one of the tight ends, and he is the only one, the only tight end. Galt playing there on the wing. He's going to move outside of Saldi. There's your combination.
Out of the shotgun, McMahon. Up the middle, and that is intended, I believe, for Bashnagel, but not a well-thrown ball or a busted pattern, one or the other, but it's incomplete. And those were 3 rather futile-looking pass plays for the Chicago Bears. And Mike Ditka quite properly not too pleased with those developments. Fourth down upcoming as the Baltimore Colts do the job defensively again. Enough pressure on each of those occasions, well, 2 out of the 3, to pressure McMahon out of the pocket, wide, in a rolling situation, farther deep than he wanted to go. Just enough problems for him so that they could not make a completed pass.
Well, there's been some confusion on the pass patterns, and Ditka, I think, wishes he could go in himself. That's one thing. He never made a mistake on a pass pattern.
Thomas, with the ball at the 40-yard line, will be attempting, well, a spot about the 39, so we'll call it a 49-yard try for Bob Thomas. And Thomas is going to be wide and short.
Well, they had to kick off the dirt there, and there's quite an adjustment when you're used to kicking off the grass all the time, and that was on the dirt, and you're never going to kick as well when you're not used to that. You're going to see 35 yards and a cloud of dust here after the kick, and you could even see his feet slip as he was getting ready to kick the ball. So baseball season is still on, so there's that problem you have to contend with.
We'll be right back. Baltimore leading by 10. West Virginia beating Boston College and Doug Flutie yesterday. Other regional action as well. It all starts at 11 o'clock Central Time.
Well, these Colt fans are starting to get stoked up a little bit. They're sensing a victory. They could be 2-2 after this game, and they went 8-1 last year, and they could have won all of their games. They just barely lost to Buffalo and Denver this year, so they could conceivably be 4-0. It hasn't worked out that way. They've been conservative here in this second half. Let's see if Frank Cush and Zeke Bradkowski have called a first down pass play. They haven't done that for quite a while.
They got a little better field possession to work with on this series. They're out at their own 32-yard line to start. Mike Pagel, the quarterback. The give is to Dickey, Curtis Dickey, and the Bears shut that down. Good defensive work. Coming up was Todd Bell, just stepping into a hole and nailing Dickey before he had a chance to turn upfield.
And Mike Singletary, number 50, got across the line of scrimmage, jammed up McMillan very well. I mean, the Bears just out-muscled him and outbeat him on that play. Watch number 50. He comes across at the right of your screen here and just jams up the blocking and everything else, and Todd Bell makes the tackle.
Dickey is now 13 for 42 yards rushing. 2nd and 12. Bears defense trying to get the ball back for the offense. Henry and Porter, the wide receivers. Deep drop for Pagel. Sideline, and is it intercepted? Yes, it looks like Terry Schmidt as they battle for the ball. And I believe it will be Chicago ball. They've got their offense on the field already. Terry Schmidt's 4th interception. It was intended for Henry, and Schmidt plain stole the ball right out of his hands. Well, the veteran comes up with another big play.
That's right. You can throw in front of him and throw in front of him, but he still has the courage to come up and play tight. As Henry came down to the turn in the old sponge pattern, here comes Schmidt. Just came in tight on him. Reaches up and over. Let's see. Actually, Henry could have had it, but Schmidt stole it as it kind of bobbled a little bit, and they're giving Schmidt the interception. The Bears have the ball.
2nd interception against Pagel. Frazier in the end zone, and the other one. Pass intended for Moorhead, incomplete. You know, Johnny,
McMahon
does not just doesn't look like he's throwing comfortably to me. That may be an off-the-wall observation, and there may indeed be some patterns running correctly. But for a guy who has shone with his accuracy since turning professional, today I'm just wondering whether that neck strain suffered last week is affecting his throwing, or he doesn't seem to be really on it.
Well, he's taken 2 or 3 pops today, too, aside from the one he did last week. But that time, Moorhead was wide open, and he was cutting off, and McMahon threw the ball. So I don't know who to blame on that at this point. We'll find out later, but he was open.
8 out of 20. The numbers on McMahon. Deep drop here, now some pressure. He's being chased from behind and piled up by 3 Colts. Johnny Cook's leading the way, but McMahon picked up about 9 yards.
And he's hurt.
He is going to be slow to get up, as there was quite a pileup of 2 big guys and a defensive back all landing on McMahon. About a 9-yard gain for McMahon, running out of the pressure.
Vince Evans has come into the game now. He'll be the quarterback, as McMahon has been shaken up for the 2nd or 3rd time. It's been a rough game for Mr. McMahon, the man out of BYU. He's completed 67% of his passes. As you said, here's the end of that play. There's a whole bunch of Colts around. He got him around the head and just jammed his head right into the ground. That's the NFL.
So Jim McMahon. And you can see that he can almost anticipate there that he's feeling a little pain in his neck as he tried to straighten his head back. And that was quite a collision for him. So you just have to believe that he's been affected by the injury in his throwing motion today.
That's Dr. Fossier checking him out. He's the Bear team physician. And the other thing is, you could tell he wasn't running like he can run, too, when he broke out of the pocket. So Vince Evans will be called upon again here.
My goodness, I mean, now they sent in 3 new players after the play had been called, and they've rehuddled, and there's just some confusion going on down here with these Bears today. 3rd and about 2. 2 tight ends are in, Saldi and Dunsmore. And Moorhead, 3 tight ends. And diving for that first down was Calvin Thomas.
I think that might have been
Gentry. Dennis Gentry, number 29, and it appeared that he got it, but it will be close.
Boy, did he get up in the air, because several Colts were standing straight up, and he still had the dive, and he got up on their shoulders, and it's very close, but there's the penalty, and apparently against Baltimore from the reaction of Noah Jackson there.
No, we cannot hear
it's an offsides, I think, against.
Call, but it is signaled against Baltimore, and he had the first down yardage where they had spotted the ball. Dennis Gentry up and over the top, but they'll take the longer gain and pick up about 2 yards with the penalty. It'll take it to the 29-yard line of the Baltimore Colts.
Encroachment, lining up in the neutral zone, number 54, defense, first down.
Shiver, the linebacker.
Well, they must have done it more than once, because usually they'll warn you if you're lining up too tight or too far across the ball. They'll say, hey, you're lining up too close, but apparently they didn't that time.
Well, that didn't hurt him too much. It was really a 2-yard difference. The Bears had the first down anyway. Evans pitching to Dennis Gentry. Gentry trying the short side. A lot of blue shirts meet him there. He picked up maybe 3 yards near the 25-yard line of Baltimore. Now McKinnon and Moorhead come into the Bears lineup. Krause and Burrows for the Colts made the tackle, 55 and 45 respectively. In that Washington at Seattle game that most of you will be seeing following our telecast, the Redskins have taken a 7-0 lead on a John Riggins touchdown in the first period.
2nd and 6.
Willie Galt goes wide to the left. McKinnon goes wide to the right.
Now, they appear to be man-for-man on Galt, but you can see the safeties moving over that way.
2nd and 6, and what a good move by Evans. He was hit by Braceland, complete to Galt to the 10-yard line. What a play by Vince Evans. He did not see the linebacker, Braceland, number 52, until impact, and he spun off him. Braceland has got to be kicking himself for not wrapping up the quarterback, but Vince Evans whirled away and, working to his left, completed the pass right on the money.
He certainly did. We're not going to see the hit there, but he's off. He has to turn his body, and he puts the pass right on the dime to Willie Galt. A great individual effort by Vince Evans. Here's his Galt freelancing as he came in across on a sponge, went back to the outside. So an alert receiver will do that. And Evans, not very many quarterbacks could adjust and throw that ball like that when you're under the gun.
17-yard gain, and the Bears now on the doorstep inside the 10-yard line. Andy Frederick is in for Jimbo Colbert at left offensive tackle for the Bears. This is Gentry. Gentry blasting into the middle, gets close to the 6-yard line, and then is stacked up literally by a horde of blue shirts, and the gain will result in about a 2-yarder, I would think.
You're looking at Ed Hughes, who just sent the play in. He's the man that comes up with some of these plays. And last week looked like a Houdini with some of the plays that were called that went for touchdowns.
So it is now 2nd and goal for the Chicago Bears. Lone setback is Suey. Rolling out Evans. Now back the other. He's got running room. Evans trying to get to the end zone, and he'll be dropped inside the 5 to about the 3-yard line. Evans saw the daylight there, and the Colts reacted very well defensively to prevent the score. Burroughs and Braceland, seeing that Evans was going to go for the end zone, quickly reacted and stopped him short of it. It'll be 3rd down. 2 new Bears come into the lineup. No doubt one of them delivering the play. It is Saldi.
Well, you got to think that they're going to give Evans some kind of an option here. He's such a good runner. It's at the 4-yard line.
3rd and goal from the 4.
So they'll probably roll him out and give him some options.
The crowd trying to arouse the Colts defense, which has just been superlative this afternoon. 13-3, the Colts lead. Rolling out Evans. He's got a man, and it is a bad pass intended for Gentry. Short and low, and 4th down.
Actually, I don't think that was such a bad pass. It wasn't a great pass, but Gentry still should have had it. He reached out. As you can see, they went with the option pass, bring Evans out, and Gentry's going to come right into your living room, and he reaches back with 2 hands. He reaches back with 2 hands and just cannot hang on to the ball rather than leaping and trying to put in his body around it. You're right, it wasn't a great pass, but it should have been caught.
And the coverage was by Mark Fences to make sure that Gentry was going no further, so the Bears will probably attempt the field goal here. In a close football game like this, that would be the percentage play. Thomas from the 12-yard line. Ashnagle the hold. And there it is. Bob Thomas with the 2nd field goal of the afternoon, a 22-yarder. And so they have closed the margin up. With 3:51 remaining in the 3rd quarter, an unhappy Mike Ditka looks at a scoreboard that says Baltimore 13-6. 22-yard field goal by Bob Thomas as the Bears marched at 40 yards in 7 plays. He used up 3:12 on the clock, but got only the 3-pointer. Nonetheless, with 3:51 to go here in the 3rd period, they've now closed to within a converted touchdown. Thomas will kick it off for Chicago. The deep man is Larry Anderson, number 30. Good kickoff. Comes down right at the goal line. Anderson. Make it Porter. Rick Porter, number 20. Over the 25 to the 26-yard line. Number 20, Rick Porter, is stopped by Dennis McKinnon, number 85. Looking at some other scores around the National League, as you see, Minnesota has defeated Detroit 20-17, a real dogfight. And Buffalo over Houston 30-13. Dallas leading New Orleans 21-20.
They must have gotten a safety. Weren't they down 20-19?
Yes, they were. Miami 14-6 is the final score. Cincinnati over Tampa Bay. The Bucs continue to struggle 23-17. All right, we are back here in Baltimore with 1st down at the 25. Mike Pagel rolling out of pressure. A nice pass to Dickey. Dickey gets up ahead of steam and is forced out of bounds by Schmidt at midfield. Good effort by Mike Pagel.
Dan Hampton had him and actually knocked him down. He got the pass off while he was falling down. Then he helped Hampton back up. It was Mike Pagel helping Hampton up as they throw on 1st down for the first time in the 2nd half. and it's really kind of a busted play. Hampton gets a hold of him. Now watch the dive here, and as he's going down, he throws the pass. Beautiful play, and Dickey does the rest of it as Terry Schmidt has to knock him out of bounds after taking the straight arms to the chops.
25-yard gain for Baltimore. Gets them quickly out to midfield at their 49. They lead by 7. Time winding down in the third quarter. Quick flare out to Tracy Porter. He's caught immediately by Schmidt. A pickup of 6, maybe 7 on the play. Calm-looking Mike Pagel, 23 years of age, recently married a few weeks ago. Went to watch his brother play for the Naval Academy yesterday.
Did Navy win?
I think they did. Anybody know the Navy score? I'm pretty sure they were a winning team yesterday, so he's trying to duplicate his brother's effort this afternoon. 13 of 20, having himself a good afternoon. Second and about 4. Another busted play, and Pagel gets up near the marker for a first down. Hampton and Bell haul him down from behind. Let's see where they mark it. Yeah, the Navy defeated Lehigh 30-0, our college mavens tell us, so a good day for another Pagel yesterday.
You know, that time Terry Schmidt was playing off, but as the pass developed, Schmidt, the wily cornerback, came up and played it real tight, and Pagel was afraid to throw that quick hitch and managed to just squeak out a few yards, but it was a busted play.
Now a final score, Dallas over New Orleans, 21-20. It was indeed a safety that took the win from the Saints. Isn't that something?
They're now 4-0. Those Cowboys always seem to come through one way or another, don't they?
Find a way. It is third and very short, about the length of a football for the Colts here. They're at the Bears' 41-yard line. McMillan and Dickey, the running backs. They've added Ben Utt and Pat Beach to make 3 tight ends for the short yardage blocking, and they have the first down. Randy McMillan blasts into the Chicago Bears' 36-yard line. Hartenstein stopped him there, but the Colts are on the march.
Yep, familiar power left for them as they bring both backs in. You can see the offensive line just pushed the Bears back. Only Dan Hampton was in there to kind of jam it up, and they got the first down once again. Let's see what they do on first. That's the key in this drive. Both times on first down they have thrown the ball. When they went away from it, they got themselves in a hole.
Newton Williams is in at fullback. They're going to throw now, and it is complete. Bernard Henry with a sliding catch underneath Terry Schmidt. The ball was short, and Pagel's going to say thanks a lot, Bernard.
That's right. Bernard was on his way down, and the ball happened to be way down there, and he just reached down, and it was there.
First down again, and again the Colts, as Frank Cush had hoped they could do, they're exhibiting ball control offense. Passing when they have to, keeping the ball on the ground effectively, using up the clock, and marching toward the Chicago goal. They're at the 21. First down. Give us to Newton Williams, number 39, a second-year man from Arizona State, backing up McMillan at fullback. Dan Hampton made the tackle on him, and they will lose about a yard on the play.
55 seconds left in the third quarter. Now they're into the passing situation, and that's where it gets a little dangerous against the Bears.
Tracy Porter comes in, Matt Bouza comes out. And it is a yard loss on the play. Second and 11. 37 seconds and counting down to the end of the third period. They give it to Newton Williams straight ahead, and a good tackle. An ankle grab by Mike Singletary holds him to about a 2-yard gain. So a big defensive play by the middle linebacker Singletary.
Oh, he has that knack. He gets off the line of scrimmage a couple of yards and finds that hole and gets through there. Mike Singletary makes a good play, and then he has to go off the field because he's not in some of the special pass defenses that the Bears have.
That'll be the final play of the third quarter. And so the score, the Baltimore Colts 13, the Chicago Bears 6. We now pause for a word from your local stations. Stadium, where, of course, ahead come the White Sox and the Orioles. And meanwhile, Gary Fensick standing on the sideline, obviously in some difficulty with that groin injury, and still trying to keep himself active. He was out there shouting instructions to his substitute, Jeff Fisher, and you saw defensive coach Buddy Ryan alongside him, certainly unhappy to see number 45 on the sideline. Meanwhile, it is 3rd and 10 from the 20-yard line of the Chicago Bears. 3 wide receivers are in. Pagel in the pocket. Deep for Tracy Porter, incomplete. Porter and Matt Booza both arrive in the same area at the goalpost, and the pass is incomplete, 4th down.
A lot of receivers in the same zone here as you take a look at the play downfield. They're all arriving at the same time, and that couldn't have been planned that way. And a lot of trouble with pass patterns on both of these teams.
Boy, they had a lot of time to prepare that one.
Well, we're going to have a field goal try now. This is a big one because it's a 7-point lead now. Up at the 10, they got the Bears in a problem.
The ball is being spotted at the 18-yard line. A 28-yard attempt. Raul Alegre from Mexico and University of Texas is perfect on the season in field goals and remains so. He's 8 of 8. So Alegre delivers again.
With Stark holding, the punter holding, and there is Raul. He knows it's good. He knows he doesn't need the signal. And as you said, he's perfect for the day. The Colts have the lead.
Gray, who was an exchange student in Seattle, Washington, played his first American football there as he was a native of Mexico and was discovered there by the University of Montana recruiters. Went there and transferred to Texas. Now he's in the National Football League, 8 for 8 on the season in field goals. His kickoff is short. It's taken by Hutchison. And Hutchison over the 15 to the 17-yard line, and the Colts special team fired up. Stops him there. Vince Evans will come in at quarterback for the Chicago Bears. Let's take a look at some of the action underway here in the later games around the NFL today. Washington leads Seattle 14-3 in the second period. The Rams and the Jets are tied in the first quarter at 7. And those of you watching will be seeing one game or the other at the conclusion of our telecast. First down for the Chicago Bears. They now trail again by 10. Calvin Thomas is in at fullback, number 33, replacing Suey. Evans, the quarterback. Short drop, sideliner intended for Gentry, incomplete. Dennis Gentry and Calvin Thomas replacing Walter Payton and Matt Suey in the backfield. Evans in for McMahon.
The Bears haven't played in Baltimore since 1970. It's been a long time since they visited. The Colts have given up 35 points in the fourth quarter over 3 games. That's a pretty high average, but it's still too early to get a definite tendency.
Well, they have lost 2 of those games. The 2 games they have lost, they surrendered fourth quarter leads to Denver and Buffalo. And of course, Frank Bush hoping that his young defense here can stay fired up and keep that margin they have over the Chicago Bears, who I must say have not looked like they've been a terribly threatening team today, unlike the week ago against New Orleans. Evans rolling out left, and he completes the pass to Willie Gall out to the 42-yard line.
Complete to Willie Gall.
The first down play from Evans to Gall.
Okay, Galt was in the slot that time, and Evans quickly ran out of the pocket the other way. Now watch Galt as he takes a look, comes across the field, and runs towards Evans and runs for the hole. And Evans does a nice job of putting the ball in there under pressure. First down, Chicago.
Kim Anderson, the nickelback, making the stop. First down at the 42-yard line. Galt making his 3rd catch of the day for 67 yards. Evans is 2 for 6 since coming in relief of the injured Jim McMahon. Inside handoff faked, and the pass intended for McKinnon is thrown out of bounds, incomplete. Looked like Evans was expecting McKinnon to go to the sideline on the play, and McKinnon was turned inside.
Well, that kind of thing has happened quite a bit to the Chicago Bears this afternoon. There's Evans, 2 for 7 for 41 yards. Not great stats, but he's the kind of guy in a relief role like this, come in with his quickness and his strong arm, he can come up with a big play. He may have three incompletions in a row, and then he'll come up with a big play because of his scrambling ability and running ability.
13:48 to go, regulation time, as Evans trying to rally the Bears back. In motion behind the ball is Willie Galt. Hutchison is in the lineup, and timeout is called by Chicago as something else went awry.
Well,
each team has 2 timeouts remaining.
But that's a timeout taken in the 4th quarter, and when you're behind, you know the cheese is going to be binding when you get down to the end of the game, and that timeout could come back to haunt them. Those little mistakes are really hurting the Bears, really hurting the Bears.
Rushing to this point in the game, and of course now they find themselves in a passing circumstance because they're into the 4th period and trailing by 10. Second down, Evans, the quarterback, up the middle for Galt. Galt has the catch, and forget it, he's in the end zone. Willie Galt over Kendall Williams, and just what you said, there is Vince Evans down there, and he may be thanking the heavens for enabling him to pull off that play, as it was a perfect strike following exactly on what you had said, Johnny, that he may miss 2 or 3 in a row and then make the big one, a 57-yard touchdown pass to Willie Galt.
And the Colts had the blitz on, and Galt caught it right in stride. The pass was up and over everybody, and once Galt catches it and goes, it's clear nobody's going to catch you. The Bears are back in this football game. Excellent play by Vince Evans and Willie Galt.
57 yards for the score, and how quickly things can turn around if you can execute the big play. And that's what the Chicago Bears have done here. The Baltimore Colts have had the kind of an offensive game that they had hoped for, ball control, and they have kept that lead and still have it. So they're playing the kind of offensive game they want. The Bears have got to make big plays. Bob Thomas has kicked that wide to the right. Bob Thomas missed the point after wide right. Now, whether that was a problem with the hole, let's see if we can see. The snap, the hole.
The snap was a little bit low, and it took him a while to get it on, and maybe it took Thomas a little bit off stride. He just barely missed that, but he missed it, and that makes up for what happened to Baltimore. They missed one, so the Bears are down by 4, and that could become critical as Mike Ditka talks with Bob Thomas and says, get him next time.
He's going to. Bob Thomas will kick it off. A line drive shot that comes down at the 5-yard line, taken by Kendall Williams, number 44, picking his way out to the 20 and buried there under several white jerseys. And so the Chicago Bears have moved to within 4, 81 yards in 4 plays, a 57-yard touchdown pass from Evans to Willie Galt.
Another, not a sustained drive, but just a big play as Galt goes down, crosses, as the blitz was on, and the pass was just right there. Galt turned his head and spotted it at the right time, and there is that 9/200 speed.
How would you like to be Williams looking at 83 disappearing from in front of him?
Oh, a nice little move as he got into the end zone.
I thought there was a hurdle move.
Yeah. He was looking for a hurdle.
First down for the Baltimore Colts. They hold the lead by 4 from their own 20-yard line. Out of the I formation. Pagel will throw on first down. I like this. Now he's going to run out of there, and he's got some running room. He's got a block. Pagel is already out to midfield and down at the 48-yard line of Chicago. So the Colts make a big play, and Pagel, as soon as he saw that real estate in front of him, Johnny, he went for it.
That's right. He was rolling, going to go off the other way, and he took a little peek there and saw things jammed up, and then took off, and a couple of the Bear defenders were covering their man. You can see right there, Todd Bell doesn't even know that Pagel is coming, and eventually gets blocked, and Pagel can't believe all that real estate's there. Finally, Jeff Fisher knocks him out of bounds, but they are now in Chicago Bear territory, and the Bear defense is on the spot. They have to stop him this time if the Bears are going to stay in this football game.
33-yard run by Mike Pagel, and so the Colts rebound with a big play of their own off the Galt touchdown. First down at the 48-yard line. Randy McMillan, not a lot of room to operate in. He is tackled by Dan Hampton and by Jim Osborne after a gain of about maybe 2 on the play. Well, Evans, we talked about his stats. He's 3 for 8, Vince Evans, for 98 yards, however, and the big touchdown pass to Galt. There's Zeke Bratkowski doing the impression of a third base coach, sending in the baseball signals. And that is the norm around the National Football League now. Almost every team signaling in their place.
Jimbo Covert is still out for the Bears, you know. Payton's out. Pensick is out.
Great drop for Pagel, and it is incomplete, intended for the tight end Sherwin. I believe that's the first time that he has thrown to Sherwin today, and Sherwin dropped the ball.
Yep, should have had it.
Sherwin from Boston College had a fine game last week against Buffalo. 6'5", 240-pounder. He's really a very solid tight end for Baltimore. They like him, and they like his future. He's just 25. 3 wide receivers. And Sherwin is replaced by Booza. It is third down and 12:34 showing on the clock regulation time. 16-12, a 4-point Baltimore lead. And a big third down play for them.
That's right. This is where they've gotten themselves in trouble. When they have that third and long, they have not been that successful.
7 defensive backs in for the Chicago Bears. Pagel for Dickey, incomplete. Diving in was Walt Williams, who may have got a hand on the ball, but a flag, a very late flag called, and they're going to call interference against Walt Williams. Interestingly, now there was one official on the play from behind the play, and then another official down the sideline, number 15, and we'll just check him out for you, made the call. That is Bama Glass, the line judge, who made the call. And there is a discussion now with the referee, Jerry Seaman.
Oh, that's a big call.
Yes, is it ever. On third down, it gives the Colts a first down, and the Bears are furious at that.
I think what Bam was saying is that he had a better vantage point because he was looking right down, saw the front of the play. But it was a very, very late call, and
well, it may have been late because he thought the other official was going to make the call.
Could be.
Giving him that opportunity to do so. And let's see, we're in the shadows here, unfortunately, but let's just see. It's a little difficult.
Interference.
Can't tell on
Number
that.
43.
there was contact before the ball got there.
First down.
You have to make the judgment on whether he was going for the ball. The call is debatable. The late call is also debatable.
At the 28-yard line, of course, the Colts feel that they've had some bad calls against them, and their owner Robert Irsay has been vocal about that this week, including on the NFL Today earlier. So they get one for them this time. This is Dickey. Dickey, nowhere to go. What a good play, and that was Al Harris, number 90, diving in to get the ankles on him, and then Singletary and Al Raines is in at linebacker for Cabral. Made sure he got no farther. A pickup of maybe length of a football. Let's call it no gain. 2nd and 10.
Tracy Porter brings in a play, and as you notice, they're back to the run on first down, and they end up for the 2nd and 10. The throwing on first down has been successful for Baltimore, and they're not doing it now.
Pagel asking the crowd to quiet down. He should be grateful there's a crowd here. They haven't exactly been filling the joint. There's a little draw, and it is stacked up. Singletary blasting into the hole, and look at him fired up. Mike Singletary is really the vocal leader of that Bears defense. He also takes the signals in, and he's in charge, and he leads by example as he did there.
He hasn't busted a helmet in the NFL yet. He busted 16 in college. I guess they make him better here in the NFL. But he had 8 tackles last week against the Saints. And now the Bears will go into their special defense. They'll have 4 rushmen. And all the rest are defensive backs. 7 of them.
Dent, number 95, has replaced Hartenstein in the down lineman configuration. Third down play. And it's batted away. And it was Dan Hampton, number 99, who got a hand on that football. Hampton earlier blocked a point after. And so the Bears defensive team rises up.
I wonder if that's the one with his fractured finger on it, because that had to hurt. There's 99 at the left side of your screen as Pagel goes back, and Hampton spots the pass coming up and just takes his leap. And as you know, he's about 6'6" and got his hands up there. And it's really great when you can have somebody blocking on you, have the presence of mind to take that leap at the last second. Dan Hampton, the man from Arkansas, once broke both legs and an arm falling out of a tree when he was a youngster. But it doesn't seem to hinder him.
They're going to spot the ball at the 37-yard line, a 47-yard attempt for Allegre. And he has got it. He is 9 for 9. The diminutive Mexican out of the University of Texas. And Allegre has now opened the lead back to 7 for the Baltimore Colts. 10:59 to play, regulation time. We are back. There are heroes and there are heroes in Baltimore's Memorial Stadium. This guy's one of them. Raul Allegre is 9 for 9 on the season, 2 today. He just kicked a 47-yarder to make it 19-12. And the crowd here was cheering as we see Anthony Hutchison for the Chicago Bears cheering the baseball result. The Orioles beat the Brewers 5-1 and have clinched the American League East. Hutchison brings it up and gets over the 30-yard line to about the 35 at about second base here, where these two cities will meet in a series of another kind. Ricky Jones made the tackle on the play. It'll be the White Sox and the Orioles for the American League pennant. And Vince Evans, who connected in his last series here, a 57-yarder to Willie Galt. And the Baltimore Colts then came back the other way, used up 2:31 of precious time, kicked the field goal from 47 yards out.
And it was off the dirt, too.
Yes, it was. And so from their own 34-yard line where they have spotted the ball almost at the 35, we've got all kinds of motion. The Chicago Bears.
Noah Jackson, I believe, moved a little bit too soon.
Well, they continue to hurt themselves.
Number 65, offense.
That's the veteran guard Noah Jackson back in action for the first time this season off the thigh muscle injury.
We haven't been able to get a report yet on Colbert, who is out, the left tackle.
Apparently not injured. Frederick has been in there for the last 2 or 3 series. Andy Frederick, number 71, the left tackle, replacing the rookie.
Now we have a case here where Willie Galt's not in the game.
The Bears have picked up 8 penalties in this football game. Calvin Thomas, number 33, the lead back. Suey hasn't been in the last 2 series. Deep drop for Evans. Now he off to the fullback Thomas, and to make it Hutchison, number 32. No, it was Thomas, number 33, as we saw it.
He's coming off a sore shoulder. He banged his shoulder up as Willie Galt is ready to come on the field. Let's get him in there, coach.
Hutchison and Thomas are the running backs, and now Thomas will go out as they go with 3 wide receivers. Galt and Marjoram come in. 2nd and 9, just a gain of about a yard, maybe a little over a yard on that play. Clear pass out to the fullback Thomas. Wide left comes Bashnagel. Galt in the slot left. 10 minutes remaining. Out of the shotgun, Evans. Evans deep for Bashnagel, and that could be picked up. It is Derek Hatchett. Is it incomplete? No, it is an interception. Derek Hatchett. The ball intended for Bashnagel, overthrown, and Hatchett had a clear shot at it. Number 42, the 4-year man from Texas, at the 21-yard line of Baltimore.
I don't know. Bashnagel was pretty much double covered that time. There was no opening for him. They had 2 guys on him, and so you got to give it to the Colts on that one.
Hatchett comes limping to the sideline. He had a knee injury that kept him out of last week's game against Buffalo.
And still a little sore, looks like, but he'll take it for the interception, I think. Okay, Evans out of the shotgun, just throws the ball down there, and I can see it. You can see that it's pretty tough to complete it when you got inside outside, and they were both right there. So now the Colts have a chance to determine their own destiny offensively.
Well, that wasn't Willie Galt running under it to catch up to the ball either. Curtis Dickey gets wide left, and he has first down yardage and about 5 more, all the way out to the 37-yard line. Leslie Frazier and Jeff Fisher, playing in Gary Fensick's spot, made the tackle. It is first down for Baltimore. They are in command now with 9:30 on the clock. There is big Jim Mills, the rookie tackle from Hawaii, their 8th pick. There is Curtis Dickey's mileage, 15 carries for 52 yards, coming off an 80-yard week last week against the Buffalo Bills. First down, Baltimore. Dickey and McMillan continue to be the running backs. This is Dickey trying the right side. Otis Wilson comes in unimpeded and makes the tackle for a loss. Number 55, Otis Wilson.
He did a great job. He beat Tim Sherwin, the tight end, was trying to block on Wilson. Wilson took the block, played off it, came and made the tackle. Great individual effort by Otis out of Louisville, who says he's going to be there. There's 83, Sherwin blocking on Wilson. He just throws him aside and then makes the tackle. Otis Wilson, and then he gets up and gives us a little move of his.
Credit where it's due. I said he was unimpeded. He had just thrown Sherwin out there so quickly it looked like he was unimpeded. Dickey now with 58 yards rushing, 2nd and 12. Another to throw set. Dickey lost the ball. Bears diving for it. Let's see who came up with it. There were several white shirts diving for it. And it is Chicago ball at the midfield stripe. And it looks like it is Al Harris coming up with the loose football, number 90. 2 or 3 other Bears had a shot at the bouncing ball. So the Arizona State alumnus giving it back to several of his fellow alumni.
I can't quite tell who knocked the ball loose, but it was Al Harris who got the ball. It looks like it was the man laying down at the way at the back there. Was that Hartenstein? Anyway, somebody knocked it loose, and the Bears have another chance at it.
That is a big turnover. 8-12. Plenty of time remaining at midfield. Little play action. Rolling out. Evans with lots of time. Deep intended for Moorhead, and it's intercepted again by Nesby Glasgow. Nesby Glasgow is tackled immediately by Moorhead, but again, Evans throwing into some traffic down there on the deep coverage. And so the Colts get it right back.
Well, you hit it on the head that time as Evans threw the pass. Actually, Moorhead was open for a while, but the pass didn't get there in time. And by the time the ball gets down, the safeties react and come in and make the interception. Another drive, or I shouldn't say a drive. The Bears only had to play the ball for one play. You have plenty of time. Not everything has to go all the way down the field. And Vince Evans obviously is not calling the plays, but you got to have a little control, right?
I agree, Johnny. I'm not sure why they wanted to try and pop that with 8 minutes. There's that old theory that you hit right after you get the turnover, but that didn't look like the play to do it with. This is McMillan bulldozing his way up to the 20 for a gain of 6 yards, 2nd and 4. Let's take a look at the scores of those later games. We'll be going to these 2 contests in the various areas looking in today. You'll see one or the other. Washington and Seattle are in the 2nd period with the Redskins leading by 4. The Rams in front of the Jets by a touchdown in the 2nd period. So those of you looking in will be seeing one or the other of those 2 games next on the NFL Today, following the conclusion of our seemingly endless football game here. We've got still 7:23 to go, and we're after 5 o'clock Eastern time. 2nd and about 4 for the Baltimore Colts. There's McMillan, number 32, and he has the first down. Randy McMillan stopped by Fisher and Bell, the safeties. And you wonder if the defense gets a little discouraged when they make one play and then suddenly the ball is back with the opposition's offensive team. 17 carries for 53 yards. McMillan and Dickey have been doing their job today for Baltimore, exactly what Frank Fisher told us that he hoped and thought that they could do against Chicago.
I want to see what they do this time on 1st down.
Tight end Sherwin comes to the left side. This is Newton Williams. Backup fullback, number 39, forced out by Singletary and Raines. And Singletary is a little slow to get up. A pickup of about 2 yards on the play, and Singletary's all right. Dickey with 65 yards, McMillan with 63.
6:27 left in this football game. Still plenty of time.
Booza comes in with a play. Tracy Porter comes out. Bears have Hampton, Harris, Osborne, and Tyrone Keys is in now, number 98 at left defensive end in a 4-man front for the Bears. Their standard front.
Osborne, great tackle.
Dickey is stacked up right at the line of scrimmage. There'll be no gain. Osborne with Singletary in on it as usual, getting a piece of the action, if not leading it.
The Bear defense has been on the field quite a bit this 2nd half.
is Tyrone Keys, number 98. Rookie from Mississippi State. Hardenstein has not been in there for a while, so again, we wonder whether he might have picked up a little injury. He's been bothered with a sore heel. Richard Dent is in now, another rookie from Tennessee State on the right side defensively. Colts are 4 out of 13 on third down. Jim Mills has come to the Colts sideline. This has been a very physical football game. A 270-pounder from Hawaii.
Richardson's playing on the corner now, and Schmidt is in the special defense. Oh!
They have got a sack on Mike Pagel, and it is Dent, the rookie. Richard Dent from Tennessee State, their number 7 pick. And leading the charge, Dan Hampton, number 99. And so the Bears defensively do the job another time and force a Baltimore punt with 5:50 on the clock. First sack for the Bears this afternoon.
Willie Gault is back there, and he's going to have a little time and a little room.
Well, that's if Stark doesn't kick it over his head. He's had a couple of boomers. He's standing at his own 11-yard line. He's averaging 46.6 yards on 5 punts today.
But the right side of the line has moved in tight, so they're not going to get down to cover the punt too well.
Trying to get a rush on, and it was nearly blocked by Hutchison. And he certainly hurried Stark, but did not get off his best of the day. It's rolling for the Colts, however, down to the 31-yard line. Not bad field position for the Chicago Bears. 5:11 remaining in regulation time. 19-12, Baltimore Colt lead. A converted touchdown could potentially force the second overtime in as many weeks for Chicago, but they've got to get it in the end zone.
Here comes that rush as everybody was in. Anthony Hutchison got the closest, number 32. Almost got his hand on the ball and just missed hitting Stark. So the Bears have the ball. Evans at quarterback. Gault is in here on this first down play, playing at the left split end.
Turned into a 43-yard punt for Stark. There's Evans calling the signal. Shadows across the field here now. Thomas and Hutchison are the running back. A good catch by Willie Gault, and it was close to the first down on his effort to sneak up the sideline. Let's see if he stepped out. Yes, he did. It'll be a 7-yard gain.
Well, they ran the quick hitch pattern, and the ball was thrown a little bit hard, a little bit back as he went down the field. Nobody in front of him, though. They're not jamming him. They give him plenty of room. He reaches back and made a super catch. Whoever said he didn't have good hands when he was in college, that scouting report was really off.
So it is 2nd and 3 for the Chicago Bears. Let's call it 2nd and 4. Bashnagel and Marjoram now the wide receivers. Straight drop for Evans. Evans to Bashnagel, and Bashnagel makes a good catch as trying for the intercepted. It was James Burrows, number 45, and had he been able to get it, it was just end zone in front of him.
Yes, it was James Burrows, number 45, as Bashnagel down with his out pattern. Here comes 45 from the left of your screen. He almost steals the ball here, as the ball is thrown a little bit back behind Bashnagel, and Burrows comes in to make the hit, but the Bears have a first down.
Good catch by Bashnagel. First down at the 46-yard line of Chicago. 4:29 and counting. McKinnon and Gault now the wide receivers. Evans, it is complete.
What a catch.
I think that's Moorhead, the tight end, number 87. His view, yes, it was Moorhead. Our view of him was obscured by the defender on the play, Johnny Cooks, the linebacker, taking him all the way back. And that was another perfect pass by Evans.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, the pass was perfect, and Moorhead had to look over. He couldn't hardly see. As you see, 98 Cooks is right on him. He keeps his eyes on the ball and makes a reaching grab. Super catch by Emory Moorhead out of Evanston, Illinois. Here's another look at it. Those are tough conditions to make a grab, and he did it.
28-yard gain to the 25-yard line. First down, Chicago, and driving. 3:41 to play regulation time. Pitch out, Calvin Thomas. Thomas gets about 5 to the 20-yard line. Calvin Thomas, the second-year man from Illinois, the free agent signed last year. Barry Krause and Greg Braceland, the linebackers 55 and 52, make the tackle.
You talk about a critical drive for the Bears in a critical game. If they lose this game, they'll go home 1-3 against 4 basically not great teams. So they need a victory here. They'll go 2-2. Same thing for the Colts.
We're down to 3:05 and counting. The ball at the 20-yard line. 2nd and 5. Well, a game that has been a lot of dazzlers for the Bears so far. They could suddenly turn it into an exciter. That is Thomas again. Thomas picks up about 3 behind the right tackle. Van Horn and the guard Becker. It'll bring up 3rd down. Barry Krause on the tackle, number 55 again. Let's see where they mark this. They're going to mark it at the 17-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 2. 3 defenders come in. Ballard, Kim Anderson, Kendall Williams for Baltimore.
It's about almost 3rd and 3. So what do you do on 3rd and 3? I don't think they would go with the normal run. I think that it's long enough that they'll give Evans some kind of an option. Remember, he can run well, and they have an excellent play where you fake the pass and run on a draw, but I think they'll give him an option.
One setback, a straight drop for Evans, looking to throw. He just gets it away. What a catch! What a catch by Marjoram for a 1st down. A dandy catch. Burrows on the coverage, and I'm sure he can't believe that Marjoram was able to hold on to that. Johnny Cooks had the rush on a straight drop pass pattern.
And Evans did a good job of getting the ball off, and it was not a good pass, but watch what Marjoram does. He has the double pump he throws, and Marjoram just reaches back with one hand. That's what you call a circus catch. Might make the difference in this football game.
Whoa, what a big play.
Big play.
1st down, and they are at the 13-yard line of the Baltimore Colts. 15 and 153 yards in relief of Jim McMahon, who left the game with an injury. Payton out, Pensick out, Jimbo Covert not been playing much of the 2nd half. Andy Frederick playing at left tackle. Let's see what Evans and company can do here. The time winding down, a chance to force overtime. McKinnon in motion. They give to Hutchison, the rookie starting out the right side and running well. Picks up about 7, gets into the 7-yard line. Anthony Hutchison, the rookie from Texas Tech. Donnell Thompson made the tackle.
Well, there's 1:45 left in this football game, so there's plenty of time as they're down to the 7. They can still get a 1st down before hitting the goal line. So
pick up
this game got kind of interesting here in the last quarter.
Yes, it has, and you know, you have to feel for this Baltimore defense, which has done such an outstanding job in their ball control offense, and in their 2 losses, they have given up the leads in the 4th period, and they are now starting to buckle a little here.
Oh, Galt is man on man out here on the. He runs that quick post, they can't stop it.
Catch it, backed up about 10 yards on it, but they're going. Oh, what a nice defensive play! The pass was intended for Baschnagel, who slipped down, and ranging back, I believe it was the defensive end, Donnell Thompson, who actually knocked the ball down.
No, I think it was one of the defensive backs. It might have been
29. Let's see. Here's the replay.
Yeah. He almost made a super one-handed catch like Marjoram did. Look, he put one hand in there, almost grabbed the ball as Baschnagel had cleared over into another zone there. They were throwing across.
Mark Kafensis, extra defensive back, the 2nd-year man from Hawaii. So it is 3rd and 5. Now the pressure on the Bears, and indeed on the Baltimore defense.
Here comes a blitz.
He eludes it. Good play by Evans. He's going to run. Evans, touchdown. Vince Evans ran away from the blitz and takes it in for the score. Kendall Williams nearly had him about 10 yards deep, and Evans, great athlete that he is, stepped aside and then took off for daylight.
The Colts cannot believe it. There were 2 or 3 of them on him on the blitz. They brought everybody. They had busted the play, but watch Evans. He is so strong. Gets away from that one, gets away from another one, turns on, runs into the end zone. I hope we stay with this long enough to see his spike right over the back of his shoulder. Come on, Vince, give it to us. Oh, there it is. Anyway, now they got to make the extra point right here.
Oh, boy. All right, Baschnagel holding at the 10-yard line. Bob Thomas to kick it. You know the Colts will be coming. It is up. It is good. We have a tie football game with 1:03 on the clock. Shades of last week in New Orleans.
Well, you have to chalk this one up to Vince Evans, and Vince Evans alone that time as they put the blitz on. Here comes Kendall Williams, number 44. He gave him a little duke there, got up to the outside, then he's cut inside and headed for the goal line. And Vince has got great speed for a quarterback. Nobody was going to catch him as he high-stepped it into the end zone. And now we're going to see that little spike. There it is. Back over the shoulder, hang my coat.
But a big play by Evans, taking it 5 yards, having to run a few more, about 15 actually, to get to the end zone, as he was back in the pocket, looking to throw, eluding the rush, and getting a little bit of daylight with a couple of nifty moves, and there he is into the end zone, and the game is tied up at 19. And remember, of course, after the second half of our doubleheader, we'll have a great evening of entertainment for you on CBS, 60 minutes. Starting it off, followed by Alice, One Day at a Time, the Jeffersons, Goodnight Beantown, and Crapper John M.D. Well, Evans' numbers, 8 for 16, 153 yards, a touchdown. He's carried the ball twice for 11 yards and a touchdown, and certainly 2 big plays. The touchdown pass to Willie Galt, and then his own carry. There's Bob Thomas, the man who has just tied things up, kicking it off. 1:03 for the Colts to try and finish this off in regulation time. It is Kendall Williams. Williams picking his way and gets out to the 28-yard line. Pretty good return for number 44, and David Simmons, a former Colt, number 57 for the Chicago Bears, made the tackle.
Well, we're looking at an overtime situation, 57 seconds. You got to figure the Colts are going to come out throwing the ball, trying to get on the board before they have to go to overtime. And one thing I'll say is that Vince Evans always makes the game interesting.
Sure
he
does.
may throw a touchdown pass, he may run for one, he may throw a couple of interceptions. You never know what he's going to do, but he makes the game fun to watch.
Well, he has now made it a 19-19 game, and we have under a minute to go. Hagel,
oh, man, wide open.
He's got a man wide open indeed. Booza quickly, Singletary recovered to prevent him from getting a lot of yardage, but he picked up a first down to the 41-yard line. 42 seconds in the hurry-up. Hagel signaling out there with his fingers to his wide receivers. Bears had one too many men on the field, and there will be a flag down. Here goes Hagel up the middle. Hagel inside the 40 to the 36-yard line. The Colts want to end this without overtime. Harris made the tackle. The penalty probably for too many men on the field, and again, Johnny, another misplay in terms of the personnel that should have been on. 26 seconds on the clock. And the hurry-up, that can happen a little more often, but it's been a bad pattern for them today.
Yes, it was Otis Wilson trying to get off, and
12 men on the field.
he didn't make it in time, and so
Penalty
there was a mess
decline.
up on defense.
First down.
The ironic thing is that sometimes you don't know the Colts didn't have to waste a timeout because there was a penalty called, but nobody could expect Pagel to know. But sometimes when you get up, you take it.
Timeout.
Okay, here comes Pagel. He's a good runner. He's done that well. Takes a pretty good pop here by Fisher and everybody else that comes in on the tackle. The Colts have one timeout left. They're at this 37-yard line.
21-yard gain for Hagel. A big play, and an excellent point you make about the timeouts, Johnny, because the flag was dropped behind Hagel, who I believe was the man who called the timeout. So he was the runner. He picks himself up. He does what he's taught to do, quickly get the time, stop the clock, and the flag's back downfield behind him. He had no idea what had happened there. So 26 seconds remaining, one timeout left for Baltimore. And Pagel has now rushed 4 times for 57 yards, so he has almost joined the company of his illustrious running backs, Dickey and McMillan, who are in the 60s today, and they have had balanced rushing from the running backs, including the quarterback.
And they're almost within Allegre's range. As you know, he just kicked a 47-yarder, and they're down to the 37, so a few more yards, and he can kick it.
Pagel is 15 for 25 passing today. He's having a fine afternoon after a bad start when he had an interception in the end zone.
Blitz.
Forced out of the pocket. He gets the ball off incomplete in the general direction of McMillan. Leading the charge, Todd Bell, the safety number 25 for Chicago. Remember, at the end of this game, which has turned into a thriller, we're going to go to additional action. Washington and Seattle. 20-10 at halftime. The Super Bowl Redskins lead it. The Rams and Jets are tied at 14. Those of you watching us will see one of those 2 games as soon as we are finished in Baltimore, which may be a while.
Well, the Colts would be advised. That time he went back to the setup in the deep pocket. They only need a quick short pass, whether it be a pop to the tight end or a quick pass. So I would, to get within field goal range, rather than risk setting up in the deep pocket.
Well, he's going to do it again. Second down. He's got a man open, and it is complete. Inside the 30. Matt Booza, the California wide receiver. Walt Williams made the tackle. 9-8 and counting. The final timeout is taken by the Colts with 7 seconds on the clock. Raul Alegre has 2 field goals this afternoon. He is 9 for 9 on the season. He has a chance to be a hero here. What kind of distance are we looking at?
Well, it's down to the 27. It would be about 34, 33, 43 yards approximately. It would be kicked, I believe, from the dirt. And he has not missed a field goal this season yet, right?
That's correct, and his long has been 52.
And he's back on the 50-yard line, thinking about it.
Raul Alegre from Torreon, Mexico. Went to high school as an exchange student in Seattle, entered the University of Montana, transferred to the University of Texas because he's in civil engineering, a very serious and good student. He wanted the program at Texas, transferred down there, became their kicker.
You know, they could. I guess they're a little afraid they couldn't get a timeout called in time. It's third down. If they could run him a little bit to their right, they could get him set up on grass. But they can't do it this way.
7 seconds.
He kicked the last one on dirt anyway.
Yes, he did. That's a little risky, 7 seconds. They're going to spot it at the 36-yard line, so it'll be a 46-yard try. The holder is the punter, Ron Stark. 46-yard attempt by Alegre. It is wide to the left. His first miss of the season will produce overtime at Baltimore's Memorial Stadium. He had plenty of foot on it. There was no problem with his distance. The ball went a little left, and Alegre, who has 2 here today, is not the hero of the moment, but there is more time.
Mike Singletary is trying to call timeout.
Bears take over with 3 seconds left in the regulation
Well,
play.
it was off from the very beginning. He just hooked it. His hold was good. The ball was set well. You see the cloud of dust, but he just missed it. How much the dirt had to do with that, we don't know.
Well, we have 3 seconds on the clock, and the Bears have the football, and we are going to have overtime. So for the second week in a row, the Chicago Bears find themselves in an overtime situation. They had a good start in the overtime last week against New Orleans, and then with a miscue, a misplay, a misformation, and so on, they wound up surrendering the ball to the Saints, and the Saints wound up with the field goal opportunity and kicked it successfully to hand the Bears their second loss. So there's the gun ending this regulation time. And we'll have the coin flip here to get a word on who's going to receive the football to commence the overtime. And these Bear players are going to be perhaps looking into their contract to see if they get paid for working overtime. They've had 2 weeks in a row of that. Out come Singletary, Fisher, and Noah Jackson. There is Raul Alegre, and he's got nothing to feel badly about, that's for sure, although obviously he could have been some kind of hero here. But he's done his job today with 2 out of 3.
If you take a look at psychological effects,
Chicago, as a visiting
as we're
team,
going to look
will
at the
call
flip of the coin.
Number 24, please call it while it is in the air.
The Bears have got the coin
Heads
flip
is
out in
called.
hand.
It is tails.
Noah Jackson said no, but the Colts won the flip and will have the ball first. But as I have pointed out before, that doesn't always mean that you're going to win the football game.
Baltimore has won the toss and will receive. Best of luck.
Curtis Dickey made the winning call, and Jeff Fisher says the Bears will defend to our left. And with the score tied at 19, we head into overtime here at Baltimore's Memorial Stadium. We'll be right back. In a very physical football game resulting in several injuries. That's Larry Anderson on the bench, the starting strong safety for the Baltimore Colts, who left earlier and with an injury, and you can see he's got crutches out there. And of course the Bears, Walter Payton came into the game hurt, tried to play, couldn't continue. Fensick was hurt in the first half, did not return with a groin injury. We're not sure about Jimbo Covert, but he was replaced by Andy Frederick. Jim McMahon left with an injury, and for the Colts, they lost Vernon Maxwell, their linebacker, a starter, an outstanding rookie, and Larry Anderson, as we just saw, and they started the game without Leo Wisniewski. So it's been a tough game here, and there is Walter Payton talking things over with Vince Evans, who is the man of the hour for the Chicago Bears, coming in relief of McMahon. getting the tie, and here we are in the overtime. But the Colts will have the ball first, and Mike Pagel has had himself a fine afternoon for Baltimore.
I'd have to say psychologically, the Bears might have the advantage. I mean, they've got to feel lucky that they got back to a tie and got it into overtime, and the Colts got to be a little bit down. They had a 10-point lead, and they led this entire football game, and now it's back to even.
That has been their problem in the two losses. They surrendered leads in the fourth period, and they could still win this game, of course, but they put themselves into this.
They weren't able to put it away despite 2 straight interceptions by Evans, too.
That's right. Rick Porter is the deep return man. Thomas's high kickoff will be taken by Porter at the 9-yard line. Rick Porter's got some room outside, and Bashnagel made a good tackle to prevent him from getting outside. Then he got some help from Simmons, the new reserve linebacker, number 57. Brian Bashnagel is slow to get up. He really put a lick on the return man, Porter, and as we commented earlier, Bashnagel is some tough kind of guy, but he is not a big man, and that was a real collision.
And David Simmons was in on that tackle too, number 57, and they crunched him in between Bashnagel and 57 right there, who made the real impact. And I think it was more 57 that jolted Brian Bashnagel than the ball carrier. The Bears have 345 total yards. The Colts have 412 for regulation. Rushing, the Colts have a big edge, 192 to 103. Passing's pretty close, 242 for the Bears and 220 for the Colts. First downs, Colts 24 to 14, as Mike Pagel now in probably one of the most important drives for the Colts this season.
The 30-yard line. Pagel 16 for 27 and 220 yards.
The Bears in a stacked defense, all linebackers in between the defensive ends.
Henry and Booza, the wide receivers for Baltimore. Play action, fake to Dickey. The pass is complete. Wide open was Matt Booza, number 85, a first down into Bear territory at the 48. Terry Schmidt made the tackle. Schmidt and Todd Bell combining there, but he was open long enough to have plenty of time to make the catch.
He beat the double coverage. 2 Bears there, 1 receiver. He found the hole.
24-yard gain to Matt Booza.
He's caught some key passes for them as Schmidt was on the short coverage and Todd Bell is down on the deep coverage. He goes away from the deep coverage and makes the reception. You don't even see Todd Bell yet. There he is, 25.
Raul Allegre, no doubt, thinking he may get a chance to redeem himself and still be the winner in this game. Pagel play action, and Wilson, oh, what a catch by Tim Sherwin, I believe. Is it Sherwin or Beach? It is Sherwin, and what a catch as Otis Wilson made an outstanding defensive play, actually tipped the ball away, and Sherwin came up with a catch, and Wilson hurt on the play as he fell. He was, of course, exposed totally when he dove to knock away the pass.
And there was a great block, I believe, by Curtis Dickey. He's number 33 to allow Pagel to get that pass off. 33 right to the right of your screen. He takes the blitz off. And there was the deflection by Otis Wilson. Good catch by Sherwin. And I don't know what... Tough to tell what happened to Otis, but he's still down on the field.
Kind of got a foot in the faces. They both tumbled over each other. Hard to say. It looks like he's holding his leg there, so he must have twisted it as he rolled under the impact of Sherwin coming down on top of him. So 2 good plays, but the better one by Sherwin, who made the catch, and it winds up being an 8-yard gain to the 42-yard line of the Chicago Bears. You can see Otis Wilson, as this has just been a tough game on both teams with one injury after another.
It looks like it could be something in the leg, whether the knee or a little bit lower, as Wilson's going to come off the field.
Well, Al Raines has already come in for Brian Cabral, but now Cabral is back on the field. Number 54 at the right linebacker spot. We'll see who now. Raines will move over to the left side, number 53 replacing Wilson. Coming up next, we'll be seeing either Washington and Seattle, where at halftime the Redskins lead it, or the Rams at New York against the Jets.
Mike Singletary, number 50, is going to key on those backs. They've been running both backs to the same spot. We'll see if he gets it right.
2nd and 3. Here comes the blitz. Dickey, and they shut him down for a gain of about a yard. At the most, it's 3rd down, and here comes the first big play of the overtime for the Baltimore Colts. Randy McMillan.
Third down and 2. So Zeke Bradkowski with his biggest call of this football game so far. You got to figure with 3rd and 2, they figure they got 2 shots at it. You got to figure they're going to stay on the ground. Figure they can't pound out 2 yards and 2 carries. They have problems anyway.
3rd and 2 to go. The motion is Boozer behind the ball. And they've got room on the short side. McMillan. And McMillan has the first down. He is into the 28-yard line of the Chicago Bears.
Everybody pinched down in. And McMillan just dipped to the outside. Good open field running. He kept his eyes open. As you can see there, Keys had jammed it into the inside. He just dipped to the outside, and all the backs were in tight, expecting something off tackle or straight up the middle. And the Colts made it work. So now they're down in field goal territory again.
13-yard pickup, a fine play by the Baltimore Colts. 77 yards on the day for Randy McMillan. Newt Williams comes in to give him a breather. First down from the Bears' 28. The opening series of overtime with the Colts winning the toss. Quick drop, flare pass, and Schmidt has that one covered immediately as Tracy Porter made the catch. Picked up maybe 2 on the play. Let's call it a 3-yard gain. 2nd and 7. They're at the 25. Still no Allegre. McMillan back in.
Right now, it would be about a 42-yard field goal. So
they've got lots of time to march here, and they're moving the football.
I'm sure they've been told, put both arms around that ball, hang on to it.
2nd and 7. McMillan again, and the Bears close him down. He got maybe a yard. Harris first to make contact. Hampton, Singletary, Al Raines all in on it. Pickup of a yard. 3rd down, long 5. Bears send in 4 defenders now. All of them, well, 3 defensive backs and Dent, Richard Dent, the rookie.
Do you think they'll risk throwing the ball? I think they'll run. The obvious thing is to run to the right to get the ball in the center of the field. They could really cross them up if they ran back to the left, but they'll probably run right.
I think they'll run despite all those defensive backs coming in, making to cover the pass situation. Dickey still going. Nearly broke loose. Dickey is into the 14 to 13-yard line. Well, now, Johnny, the Bears had 6 or 7 defensive backs in on this play.
Little trap here. Looks like a little trap. 75. Chris Hinton goes through the hole, and he got through there slick and clean, and Dickey just followed him through. Nice blocking in the middle of that Baltimore Colt offensive line. Now the cheese is really binding.
First down. Dickey's up to 75 yards rushing.
Now the question becomes, how long do you keep running the ball and risking fumble?
I keep running the ball the way they've been running it today. McMillan, make it Dickey. Number 33, Dickey is caught by Raines. And there'll be a loss on the play as Dickey could not get wide. Loss of probably a half yard. 2nd down. And 11.
Well, it's kind of an easy chip shot right now. Maybe one off right tackle, center the ball, and kick. Because eventually Frank Cush is going to say, hey, the heck with this, let's kick this field goal.
Dickey and McMillan, the running backs. Over left. McMillan, he popped behind the line of scrimmage, and it was Mike Singletary, that quick middle linebacker, just blowing in there and knocking him down behind the line. Loss of another yard.
Timeout.
Maybe 2.
The Colts have just called a timeout.
There's the signal, and it was a loss of 2 on the play. It brings up 3rd and 13. And we are down to 10-12 in overtime, but more importantly, the Colts are down to the 16 line of the Chicago Bears, and there is Raul Allegre. Raul Alegre from the 23-yard line attempting to win it for the Colts.